It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's Friday then. Saturday, Sunday. What? Yeah, it's okay.
What's up? This is Jeff. Welcome to Jeff's podcast, and it's Chilling Friday. And of course, it is very chilly on a Friday morning until Friday evening. Everyone has to take a bath when suddenly the water gets cold. It's really cold because it is the winter season. Hashtag winter is coming. And before the start of the topic, the official Twitter page of the Anime New Year Convention releases a statement announced last December 2nd that the COVID Omicron variant has been detected at the convention, and it came from Hennepin County in Minnesota. The Anime New Year Convention event takes place last November 18 to 20th at the Jacob Javits Convention Center in New York. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki announced that an adult maid has received a positive Omicron variant. The mayor had been vaccinated for COVID and reported mild symptoms last November 22nd and got tested last November 24th. He was informed to isolate himself from others and his symptoms have since resolved. For those who know about the Omicron variant, it is a new strain of the disease and appears to have evolved independently from the COVID Delta variant. The World Health Organization, or WHO, designated it as a variant of concern. The first known confirmed sample of the virus was found last November 9 and reported to the WHO from South Africa last November 24. The first case linked to the Omicron variant in the US involved an individual who had recently returned from South Africa. The individual was fully vaccinated and reported mild symptoms. Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer-BioNTech are all preparing to potentially change their vaccines to target the Omicron variant. PCR tests continue to detect infection, including infection with Omicron and Delta variants. This December is the Cosplay Mini Matsuri event held as a hybrid event. Both the live stream and physical event held at the SMX Convention Center Hall 2 on December 28 to 30th, and other anime events for the month of December, including the Otosuka event held on December 11th at the Lapel University Suites in Metro Manila. We know that the number of COVID confirmed cases have been lowered, but the COVID Delta and the COVID Omicron variant is still intact. I suggest it is better to stay healthy, follow health protocols, and bring personal hygiene such as alcohol or hand sanitizers, handkerchief, wear a face mask, and of course, wear a face shield for protection just in case. Today, we're talking about vampires and hunters for the show, and this isn't Marvel's Blade movie or even Van Helsing starring Hugh Jackman, or Underworld starring Kate Beckinsale, or even Dracula spoof starring Leslie Nielsen. Since vampire-themed anime is a trend, such as the Blood franchise, so now Yoshida's Trinity Blood, Konami and Netflix's Castlevania, and Hiroshi Negisi, Sato Akahori, and Tsutomu Isomata's The Master of Mosquiton. Well, Master of Mosquiton is on a trend here in the Philippines since you've watched the animated series already aired on GMA in the early 2000s. We're talking about Itaru Bonnoki's The Vampire Dies in No Time, and this anime is full of a barrel of laughs between a hunter and a vampire. Itaru Bonnoki's The Vampire Dies in No Time, published in Akita Shoten's Weekly Shonen Champion magazine in June 2015, centers on the famed vampire hunter Ronaldo, who's on the job to infiltrate Dwalok, who claims to be the most invincible vampire. Dwalok is the most invincible vampire, but all of a sudden, he becomes a dust where he bumps. The story begins when the kid came into his mansion for the purpose of making it his personal playground. Dwalok's mansion completely explodes thanks to Ronaldo's recklessness, so he decided to bring Dwalok to his place. Ronaldo is a famous vampire hunter, a novelist, and recently pole dancer, where Dwallo calls him after they attend the vampire homecoming party. Don't ask when you saw Miley Cyrus's wrecking ball scene, including the naked scene. Dwallo is a vampire, but he's very weak when he transforms himself becomes dust and weird transformations, such as a combination of vampire spider. He has a partner in crime named John. John is an armadillo who does his errand chores, and also a professional futsal player and a DJ. Hmm, I never heard about armadillos can play futsal or learn how to make DJs. There are other characters including weird vampires all over Shin Yokohama, ranging from the smacking vampire monster to a vampire that gets really completely naked, including the flower petals, or even a micro bikini vampire. Still, vampires are completely weirder in every episode, as well as vampire hunters. It really is definitely a full barrel of laughter for the show. But the memorable one is Ronaldo who calls him into Paul McCartney from the Beatles after he and his vampire friend Jarluck attend the vampire party. But one vampire woman wants to talk with Ronaldo about his hobbies, such as pole dancing, instead of vampire hunting. The fact that sucking blood is enough of a strain to turn him to dust is wonderfully absurd. I also love him saying Dinas, which is reversed for sand, randomly one time when he reformed into his usual vampire form. The show has the execution of the comedy in this anime is a tier above the norm, making any other comedy anime this season look like a cheap novice experiment. The way it times the sketches, the way it builds the jokes on top of another, how it plays with the absurdity of the concept of the anomalous vampire world, how it twists the already formed expectations. It is just amusing to watch. The execution is glorious, and the content is the perfect condiment. The vampire dies in no time expresses a flood of energy, overflowing the episode with jokes and twists, with running jokes that are piling up because of how ridiculous the characters are, and absurd escalation of the most simple and mundane problem because of how idiotic the decisions are, spiraling into madness in a matter of minutes and ending with a punchline that almost always delivers perfectly. If you are normally the kind of person who enjoys comedy anime and are looking at this because you think you might enjoy it, you probably will. If you have comments or suggestions, let us know in the comments. Follow Jeff11 Manchester on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to youtube.com/kfaboy. Well, that's about it for Jeff's podcast. This is Jeff. We'll see you in the next podcast.